Censorship. You love it. We hate it. We want to body people for putting it in the damn shows that we watch, but ultimately, it is some nonsense that we do not necessarily care for, and it has been a bane of existence for a good while. To be honest, it's been a bane of existence on the Western side for a multitude of things, because, like, you know, obviously things of a political standpoint, of a certain island man, things of a standpoint where, you know, games from the East get hoed by journalists because they can't necessarily make a nearly good game like the Japanese and Chinese and South Korean people can, because they're just bums as hell and they just get mad when other countries do better shit than them and all that sort of jazz. But there is one level of censorship I have never really talked about, and I think it's about time I really should bring it up, and that is just regular Japanese censorship. Like, I know, of all the things I've talked about on this channel, of all the levels of keeping you up to date with certain censorship moves, where it's age verification, whether it is literally, you know, blocking DL sites and Visa and MasterCard and all that BS that we had to deal with and still deal with. Ultimately, one level that we have not talked about is JP censorship in its entirety, because high-key, even that doesn't make a lot of sense. And granted, there's a bit of a difference, I would guess, stance on how Japanese people feel about censorship on that sort of level of adult content than anything, but ultimately I do want to talk about it real quick. Now, obviously, you know what adult content look like when it comes to Japanese. You know, obviously it's usually a white bar of light for some reason. It's usually some pixelated nonsense. It's either a very crazy black bar, or it just straight up just cuts it out completely and use like the audio footage of it, or just straight up have like something else in its place, like, I don't know, an anime mascot figure, right? I ain't gonna sit here and lie. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It genuinely doesn't, right? And I get the standpoint of where somebody could be like, you know, I don't mind it censored because when the action's happening, it makes you want to see more. And I get that, right? It's like when people draw characters getting clapped with clothes on. Like, I get it. It's very like, why? But ultimately it's like, yeah, you want to see more. Why don't you want to see, you know, let's say for example, Kim Pine getting absolutely plowed from the back, but her boobs is not out. Of course I want to see that. Who wouldn't? But ultimately it makes you want to see more, and that's like just how it is. I get it, but it still is a problem, because ultimately it hinders what the original footage or the original vision of what the creator is trying to do there. Even if it's regular adult, you know, real lifers content, when it comes down to it, I would still rather see what's going on instead of not seeing what's going on, or at least have the option available to me whether or not I want to see it or whatever, right? Like, let's keep it very much a stack. In the actual adult industry in Japan, it is like some most wild, weird stuff to kind of really be in existence, right? It is very weird. And if you really go out your way to just make uncensored content, or sell uncensored content really more so, 9 times out of 10, you're basically gonna be in trouble. It's like, it's very strange. The way they kind of view about it over there is basically like, they'll send it to people that, you know, obviously is about the censorship and have to do the censoring and things, but they'll try to go less as possible without trying to get into super big trouble. And the only reason why, you know, obviously stuff like this hasn't really changed up either is because, for the most part of the Japanese population, they don't really have a giant incentive of wanting to change it. Lots of people actually don't mind it being pixelated or whatever, and there's, you know, obviously people that want to see it uncensored, but there's also people that's okay with it being the way it is. Like, for the longest time that I have seen adult content when it comes to Japan and how they kind of go about things, it has always been censored content. Like, sure, there's been brief moments of stuff, you know, where it's like uncensored, but the way I learned about this is basically the fact that they would take, you know, maybe adult company and essentially take it outside of Japan where it is legal to show things uncensored, and then redistribute it and then kind of just have it that way. That's the only way it can be like uncensored, which I was like, oh, you know what, that makes a lot more sense. That makes a ton more sense. But ultimately, most, you know, people aren't going to necessarily go out and do the foreign thing solely because, you know, most people in Japan are fine with how adult content genuinely just is, right? And again, I understand the sentiment of why. However, I would still like to have the option, and I think having an option whether or not to turn on and or off the censorship is like one of the biggest things I feel like people should definitely have. right? Plenty of times have I seen, just in the West, how many times have we seen stories or games where they had something in JP where it was absolutely great, but then they took it out in the American release or the Western release, when it should be an option to have that thing there or have it not there or whatever, right? That should be up to the person that's buying the stuff that wants to see it. Ultimately, it's not like that, and it's very infuriating a lot of the damn time. At least in JP, you'll get that a bit more, but there is still, like, you know, obviously more pixelated stuff that is out there than it is with the other option of having it off. Which brings me to the main reason as to why I'm even talking about this in the first place. Nukitashi. Nukitashi is easily one of those craziest shows I've seen in a while, and honestly, it's right up there with a lot of other good shows that I really do enjoy, right? It is by far one of the most peakest, ecchi shows, damn near should be 8 show that I've ever really seen at all, and it's just crazy how it kind of is. But when it comes down to it though, one thing that has bothered me, and I was hoping that the Blu-ray would fix, is the damn duck mascot. The duck mascot is basically there to censor anything that is unhinged looking or going crazy. Because here's the thing, you know full blown well that the whole meat, the whole balls, the holes and all the other holes is very much on screen for your viewing pleasure. Like, you can absolutely 100% see that type of, you know, stuff that kind of happened for sure. That, you know, they damn well made that when they animated that, but then it's censored by this stupid ass duck mascot. And while for the show, I'm like, okay, maybe for the show that's perfectly fine, but for the Blu-ray, I would like to see it be removed. I want to see what the actual uncensored vision of it is, and they go pretty damn crazy in the OVA, right? I'm not gonna show you screenshots because I don't know if that's allowed, but I'll just show you what is, you know, obviously been advertised by the Twitter account themselves. But ultimately, you get good scenes with Hinami and you get good scenes with Misaki. And I'll keep it very much a buck. You can definitely find those online. You can definitely see those, and I did watch them both. But ultimately, Hinami was alright, I should say. She was like literally like, you know, flat as hell, was getting in. But I would say her scenes had really good quality in there, while Misaki just had just straight up some of the best stuff there, right? She was better in a lot of the actual smashing positions. You would just literally see seeing June just go in deep on her in the back, honestly. And while the quality did kind of slightly drop, honestly, it wasn't anything ultimately bad. I still would clap the shit out of Misaki, just how fine how she is and all that sort of stuff. She just looks damn good, more finer than what I gave her credit for in the actual show. But when it comes down to it, the one bastard thing that exists that ruins the entirety of the scene really is big ass duck face that just holding tightly to the censorship game of, you know, anybody that's basically getting any sort of body part shown.
Eat a dick, old man! You fucking ass!
It is so annoying. It is very annoying. Is this something new? No. This has been something that's been going on in anime for years with unique looking mascots to censor stuff. But ultimately, I want to see what the actual hell is going on, dude. Right? At least in the Blu-ray. There is no reason the Blu-ray should not be in that sort of level. And maybe it's because, you know, Passione maybe didn't want to just, you know, distribute this in a different way or showing this in a way where it's overseas. And maybe the overseas version will get a uncensored version. We don't know. But ultimately, as it is right now, we don't really have that, and it's very annoying when it comes down to it. Like, you can clearly see there is some meat going in somewhere, like they animated that, and you mean to tell me we can't see that in a Blu-ray copy, the usual definitive direct ultimate uncut version, and we can't really see that in any shape or form? And it's crazy to me, right? It dead ass ruins what could actually be some really cool hot shit when it comes down to it, only for it to basically be ruined in some shape and form. And it's just like, come on now. Now, my only hope as to why maybe in a Western release, you know, since they're getting like an English dub and whatever, hopefully maybe the Ocean Vale site, since they're responsible for getting the show out there and then also at the same time getting, you know, the English dub side of things kind of going, hopefully they'll be able to just let the censor bar drop and so we can see everything that should be seen. Instead, I'm hoping the guys at Ocean Vale can do that and it's within their power. but who really knows? We really dead ass have to see. But yeah, to keep it very much a stack, I never understood why jentai in particular needs to be having these crazy ass censorship stuff when it comes down to it, because you're there to see and beat. That is literally how it is, and it's very much different and weird at times too, because again, and maybe they follow the same principle of what I said before, but you have some jentai like Bible Black or even Front Innocent that exists where it's just completely uncensored and looks very damn good, and dead ass censorship would ruin Front Innocent. I ain't gonna sit here in life. That was even that was just completely censored up, I'd been pissed. But when it comes down to it though, you literally have, you know, shows that exist with that fully out, but then shows that also just doesn't follow that same formula. And again, maybe it could be an overseas thing and foreign thing, but granted, who really knows? But there is a lot of all-time classics that just straight up have really good, you know, animated scenes, but then the damn pixelated censor thing is there. And it also makes you wonder, wait, how the hell is this like possible when it comes down to doujins and jentai itself too? Because sometimes doujins just be bullshitting. They be have like these small ass black lines, which honestly is the better version of censorship because it's just a small ass black line. Technically you can't tell what the hell that is in the most dumbest sense possible, and they get away with that. And it's like, why don't they use that shit for like, you know, regular jentai content? Maybe it's a different thing, maybe it's a different standard, I don't know. But it's just like, come on now, like let's be real. People want to see it. Let's just show it and be done with it, honestly. You know, or just make, again, the option for people to be there to kind of pixelate it and unpixelate it, right? Let's just have it to be an option for people to have it there. Hell, when we were talking about Time and Asagi last month, deadass, there is even people going out their way to find ways to uncensor what has already been censored. I don't know how they do it, but they have done it, and they have, you know, made progress when it comes down to it. And it looks pretty okay. It doesn't look like anything egregious or anything like that. It looks pretty alright for what it needs to be. And yeah, it looks like, hey, this is what Time and Asagi of the first version would look like if you had it uncensored. But still, for me personally, just censorship in this sort of way has always felt extremely pointless. Like, we know what this is. It's for adults. I don't really see why a censor bar need to be there, or a pixelated mess of just things needs to be there to just like do what it do and all that sort of stuff. It really doesn't make a lot of sense. More so in obviously in a animated sort of category, but it also doesn't make sense even in a real life category, right? The only time I can kind of see why you would put it there is in not even on the actual action itself, maybe on a person's face, because maybe they don't want to be exposed out there like that. But then at the same time, you're in the industry, you made a video, so ultimately, you know, whatever happens to you should be also kind of fair game. But then again, Japanese society and how they treat people at times is effing brutal to the point where, you know, taking one's life is a thing. So yeah, maybe that can be fine, but ultimately still, it's not necessarily something that I'm super keen on. I'm super keen on, because that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me in a somewhat sort of way, but I get why. Like, and I think that's probably the reason why I don't watch a lot of JAV stuff in general and just mainly stick to just Gensai content, because it's not necessarily, you know, done in the way I would like to see it done. Which is sad, because there's a lot of crazy ass like things that Japanese adult content in a more real life sort of sense does. I will never forget the damn scene, or the one where basically some dude went to a vending machine and just bought straight up a whole chick, and it was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna clap her right in public and just use her as a disposable on the hole, I guess, and then throw her in the bin. I remember seeing that at a point where I probably shouldn't see it, and I'm just like, dead ass, they have vending machines like that over there? And as I learned more about Japan and I've learned how much different stuff are in vending machines, I'm like, so there's a possibility. So if I find one of these for real, I'm not disposing that shit. I'm taking it with me back to my own place, and we're gonna just do a bunch of wilding things all the time. That's how it was when I saw that the first time. I was like, if they got hoes and vending machines, best believe I need to go to Japan immediately. That's just how it is, bro. There was definitely that. There was also, I think, one where some dude's sister played hide and seek in the refrigerator. She froze to death or something, or maybe not froze to death, but like froze up or whatever. And he found his sister in the refrigerator. Like, damn, my sister's in the refrigerator. Well, time to clap her cheeks, I guess. Like, wait, what? Your sister just got put in the freezer and froze. Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean you're gonna clap her like that? And there's many other different things that, you know, is really crazy about, you know, obviously normal JP content and stuff like that. But the censorship, man, the censorship just kills it for me, honestly, a lot of the damn time. And again, it's an understandable situation as to why I get it, why it's there. But again, if it's for the action, that's not really making any sort of sense. And even for the faces at time, it's like, well, if you didn't want to do it, and no matter what your reason is, you shouldn't even be here, right? Because let's just keep it very much a stack, and this is a whole separate thing entirely. But let's just be real. The moment a man or woman enters the adult industry, do like movies or whatever, like the moment you're in there, people ain't forgetting. People ain't gonna forget whatsoever. It doesn't necessarily matter if you're someone like you know, a Mia Khalifa or Kaha Shibuya. At the end of the day, guess what? People are always going to remember you basically getting clapped up, swallowing meat, and basically being used. That is just how it is. Not even being offensive or anything, but that's literally how it is. I think Riley Reid basically just complained about it not too long ago, and I was just like, man, that's crazy that she's saying this now. Anyway, let's go find some more content her and beat off to, because that's literally what people are going to remember you for, right? Is that all the things that you are just good for? Of course not. Obviously you do other stuff, but you also have to be aware that, yeah, you basically swallowed a lot of opportunities now, didn't you? Which, granted, I don't even watch the now adult industry because there's really not much in there that I care for or people to really care about when it comes down to it. There's only like 2 people that I only pay attention to, and they're both like, you know, every now and again, which is obviously, and I think I made my point pretty clear at one point, Hidori Rose, because yeah, that's still some prime time booba and ass. That is still prime time. And then Tiny Asa, which, yeah, that's some prime time booba and ass. I can't sit here and deny that. Belle Delphine, that's some prime time booba and ass. I can't sit here and lie. I can't sit here and lie. The feeling has changed on a lot of it, but still, that's some prime time cheeks that I can't sit here and cap to you. That's just how it is. And honestly, again, and I will always say this, but if the point of the moment was there, where some offering of the cheeks was from any one of them, that's gonna have to be a willful sinful moment. I'm sorry. That is just the one. That is the one time I will absolutely fold. I would probably for sure fold. Let's just keep it very much as that. You mean to tell me if Hidori looked like this and also looked like this, and I don't know what Belle Delphine does, but maybe look like this, I guess. That's a fold situation. I'm sorry. That's just GG's. That is how it is. And more so for Hidori or Asa. I'll just keep it very much a stat.
And who's that? Oh, it's Mr. MVP! Simp!
But yeah, like I said, outside of those 2, I really don't look up much of anybody. And crazy because there's a lot of fine-ass JAV stars of the past and of the present that still looks very good, and even some Koreans and South Koreans and, you know, Taiwanese and Chinese ones that kind of come through just to do that sort of stuff. And there's a lot of good ones that is out there, but ultimately, you know, and most likely they will be also checking that situation if, you know, they were offering, but you know, that's just how it is. But still, it's not really many people I pay attention to. I can't even give you any names outside of, like, I don't know, Hitomi Tanaka in her prime, or the one that was in like the Discord that we talked about before that someone brought up, and I was like, okay, I can see why, I guess, and I would clap, I guess, if the chance was there, but that's just how it is. Really, a lot of it's kind of like strange versions of prostitution, really, if you want to look at it in a weird sort of way, I guess, right? Because I'll keep very much that, and I guess this also had nothing to do with the video, but high-key, prostitution is kind of weird, to be honest, because, like, it's a partner that you're gonna get with, especially in Japan, because it's like, you go into these red light districts, and you do from the rear and maybe from the mouth, and that's it. And then also you got to share the hole with other people, and then it's most likely get used more than one time a day, and it's all that sort of stuff, and you got to pay for that. Why not just have a wife? Why not just get cheeks on the daily from your wife or from your partner? Like that seems more like a valuable option than just paying for it constantly from random people that getting their whole wrecked by other people. Like that's just how it is for me. So yeah, prostitution is not on board when it comes down to this lad. But ultimately, again, censorship, I get why it exists, but rather wish it didn't. And I do think it genuinely hinders a lot of jentai works when it comes down to it, when it is censored. So yeah, that's basically my whole damn point. I don't know what that last tangent was. I was just really displaying the I guess the down badness I had right there for a second. I don't know, but that's just literally how it is. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on your way out. Also follow my socials, and if you'd like to donate to the channel, Kofi and Cash App is available as well. And until Boy J, sign off. Have a blessed day.